Okay, so good evening, everyone, from the multipurpose room. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we're unable to meet at the town office tonight. This is a committee of the whole meeting for January the 11th, 2016. It's been suggested that we move our agenda around just a little bit, and we're going to move up to item 4.1 on the agenda, Finance and Administration, request from the Assistant Chief Administrative Officer. Let me just get to that on mine, 4.1. Okay. So, from our previous meeting when we met on December the 16th, I think what we said to the cab owners who were there is that we would set up a meeting date and meet with you one more time. I believe that's what we had agreed to. And so I'd like to propose that we set a date to do just that.
Is it all of council or just a couple people?
It's, again, I'm if you want to meet with all of us or some of us, or what is it, Brian?
I was going to suggest one of the things you're talking about is ad hoc committees. Maybe this would be a good.
That's great.
To set up a small committee to meet with them, review the document, find out what the issues are, and then bring back a recommendation to.
I can't hear two people at the same time. Sorry, Mike. No, I would like to go.
A committee needs to be established through a resolution.
See, we're creating a bureaucratic nightmare here. So we have to create a committee through a resolution, and at that time, then we can form the committee, and then they can meet, and then they'll report back to council, and we'll have a wonderful summer. When do we like to deal with this? How would we like to go forward with this?
Can we even meet in the next 2 weeks? Get this. Does that work?
I'd like that. I won't be here for the 2 weeks, but
Works for me. We're on a phone call away. Get a hold of me and get a hold
Well, let's set a meeting date tonight, right?
Yeah.
And don't leave and not have anything set. Let's set a time and date and be with it and move forward. Otherwise, we'll be here for 6 months.
don't hang on. Sure.
You're on now? Okay. You guys are good?
Thank you, Amber.
I don't know. Are we good?
Maintenance, eh?
We're good.
Andrew's got it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so we're going to set a date over the next 2 weeks. I'm sorry for the confusion. Give me a half a minute and I'll be all organized. Okay, let's. I am away for the 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of January, but that doesn't mean you can't have a meeting. So what day works for everyone?
Doesn't matter with me, we'll just say that we're good.
Well, we have council on the 25th, so we probably should do it that night. Just to-
There's a public hearing that night too
Yeah,
coming up.
it's already kind of a long agenda.
What's good for you, Brian?
next week. We can meet.
Okay. Alan, good for you? Okay, so what if I said then out loud, let's have a meeting on the 19th? I won't be able to attend, but we
There's a
can.
KRC meeting on the 19th.
Okay, what about the 20th? Wednesday the 20th?
It doesn't work for me, but I don't think we're looking for everybody to meet, right? We just need a
Yep.
couple of members of council.
Can we meet during the day for another meeting? It's easier for me to meet during the day.
Has to be
No?
after 5. I want to-
They're working too.
Sorry.
You know what, I'm sorry, I can't commit to that week after because Kimberly's having surgery and I have the grandkids.
So that week is out?
So, yeah, between shift
Okay.
work and stuff and Rory's.
What about the 26th?
6 would be good for me, I believe.
Sure. Anytime after 5.
Anytime after 5 would be great.
Council?
26th at 6.
26th, a Tuesday?
At 6.
Sure, 6 p.m.?
Tuesday,
It doesn't work for me. Tuesdays don't work for me, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's 2 or 3 councilors that can meet, then that works.
Margaret, you can
Let's just pick a
attend?
date.
Tuesday is good. If
Okay.
There's others that can work that week.
Crystal, you can attend? Brian, you're there? Okay, that's good. And then Alan, you'll be there. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Meet at, yeah. Okay, so The 26th, Tuesday, the 26th, at 6 PM in the committee room?
Here.
I'll send over the-
Okay. We will revert back to the original agenda then. We'll start off with item number 1, Public Works Maintenance, 1.1 Wastewater Lagoon Study.
You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay, on, one, sorry. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to do this part of the meeting, bear with me. Back in September, council passed a resolution asking Manitoba Water Stewardship Board for assistance with a comprehensive study in regards to our wastewater lagoon. We've received agreement from them. It's recommended we sign the agreement so they can start with the study.
Okay.
Time is of the essence, as we need permission to sign the agreement prior to the resolution being passed, as they need to get going on it as soon as possible. So the resolution wouldn't be signed until January 25th. We're asking if the council could sign it tonight so we can get it on to them so they can start doing their work as soon as possible.
Does anybody have an issue with that?
There's money in the,
It'll be part of the engineering 2016 capital projects.
but there is money like in the capital projects fund.
Yeah.
Right.
Says our CFO. Yes.
Over there, yeah.
Okay. So are we okay then to sign the agreement tonight?
Yes.
And knowing full well that we'll pass a resolution on Monday? Councillor Rock, you have a problem with this? I can tell by the look in your eye.
Yeah. We couldn't set up a committee because we have a problem, we can't make decisions, and then now we turn around and we made a $40,000 expenditure decision without kind of the conflict there. Although I do agree that we need to move forward on it. I wonder if, do we know how it's going to be paid or whatever? Because the request they had was pretty specific. Is that going to be coming when we see budget stuff? or-
Jody,
Yes. Yes, it is.
we have the funds for it.
Staff bringing it forward later on tonight.
Okay, because if we're going to hear about it later, I'm in favor. I think we need to do it, so.
Yeah.
Just take.
We do have to do it. Are we okay with that before I go and put pen to paper? Just 3, eh?
Just three.
All right. Then we will close that off, and we'll move on to item number 3.1 is conditional use application request from the Assistant Chief Administrative Officer.
So we received a conditional use application from the Royal Canadian Legion in regards to putting up another sign. They would like to put up a 4x6 LED digital sign on their lot. However, our bylaw, our zoning bylaw does not permit flashing signs in any zone without the approval of council. In any event, no flashing signs should be permitted within 300 feet of any residential zone. However, bylaw 4371 of the Town of the Paw states flashing and LED signs may be allowed as conditional uses in any commercial, industrial, public, open space. So this is just going to be a public hearing on January 25th, as per the...
And so this would be received as information only then?
Yep.
We'll deal with it. Yes, Councillor Rock.
Just a question,
Sure.
will they, somebody's going to be present, and will they actually tell us where they're going to stick the sign and whatnot?
Yep,
Because,
they'll be present.
I believe so, yeah.
You know, we've had these things before, and then nobody shows up, and then they just sort of go through.
Okay, so,
I'm fine with the sign, but can we, this is the fourth sign thing I think we've had this year, since we started. Can we not change the bylaw to let these guys
I agree.
decide what, you know? If they're building a 50-foot
Changing-
sign,
Changing your zoning bylaw is huge, huge undertaking.
Is it as big of an undertaking as having hearings for every time someone comes through with a sign?
Oh yeah, huge. You're gonna have involve the planning or planning branch.
right, but the
And
way
that's
it's,
fine, but our
the way it's
bylaws-
stated, it's an LED sign, right? So every sign you buy now is gonna be an LED sign. So anyone who wants to put up a lit sign, it's gonna come before council, which to me
Yep.
doesn't make a
We
whole lot of
can-
sense.
We can start the process of amending the zoning bylaw, if council wants that.
I think we should.
I do, but I can't
'cause
speak for everyone else.
we're not going to go back to
I don't think
incandescent.
this is anything, sorry, I don't think it's anything.
Is the
to do with
variation
this.
required because it's an LED sign?
It's in the vote.
The conditional use is required because that is what the bylaw says, that it needs permission of council through a conditional use.
For a
Now,
flashing.
For the flashing sign. And now the variation is going to be, because bylaw says you can only have 2 signs per business.
Right.
This will be their 3rd one. You can only have sign surface per business of 64 square feet. This is going to make it 67. So now you need a variation.
Are they not gonna get rid of that other
No.
sign that they have though?
No, they're not.
So we do have
You have to do both.
processes to go through on it. Okay? And so this is for information only for public hearing, right? For
Yeah.
3.1 and 3.2?
I know Randy's been wanting to update our zoning bylaw, but it's just a big undertaking.
Okay, well,
Okay. There'll
okay.
be many other changes.
Let's move on to item number 4 on the agenda. We've dealt with taxi cab. 4.2, Kelsey Recreation Commission long-term plan.
So, Kelsey Recreation Commission has requested to have the funds that have not been spent on the 4-year long-term recreation plan to be held over and applied to year 2 of the 4-year plan. Completion of projects for the 2016 will be dependent on maintenance director is hired. Some assistance may be required from the engineering department pending time and availability as well. Council approved the carryover of funds that have not been spent on year 1 of the 4-year long recreational plan. I know they were having problems with tenders and getting the work done, so they're asking to carry it over. And Randy's recommended carrying over
What is-
complete projects.
What is the amount?
Clear.
I think it's like 100.
32,
So that wasn't,
32.
Jody, was that amount provided to you for carryover?
If you look, it looks like $20,000 because it said at the end of their plan that they spent $75,000 in 2015 and their total budget for 2015 projects was $95,000.
Okay,
That's part of that, I was like, well,
No, they spent 95.
They spent 90.
They spent 20 on the ring
Right.
base, they spent 75 on the,
yeah.
so they spent a total of 95. I don't know, it doesn't say
Oh,
what
right.
the budget was for 2015.
It
This-
says right at the bottom, 95,000.
Yeah, that's what they spent, it doesn't say what the budget was about.
Oh, that's what they spent, I thought that was their budget.
There's 140,000 approximately budgeted, and I believe they completed about 35,000 on that, so it's probably about 105.
outstanding.
Oh, that was the 75.
Is that not kind of important?
So here's my issue with this. I'm looking at Jody, but we seem to get these carryovers from other departments as well. And that's fine. Stuff doesn't get done. You're not going to pull the pin and pull it back. But then next year we just add more to the pile, right? So we get this bigger number of stuff that's not done.
Yeah.
So if we carry stuff forward, that's fine. But say like until this is done, you're not getting it for next year. That's just my opinion, but we've got all this outstanding money of stuff, projects that don't get done. Well, if we're not getting done, then why are we spending more money to add to the projects that can't get done already?
So you're saying bump year 2 back to year 3 then?
Well,
That's fine.
don't come ask for year 2, you haven't done year 1. So when you're
Right.
done year 1, then we'll talk about year 2. And if it takes a year 3 to get there, that's not my problem, right? But don't say we're just getting, here's some more money, because you can't get this done, and here's some more. And then next, like, it's like, when does it end? Right? So we've had numerous requests this year about the same thing. Well, that's carried over, didn't get done. Well, if you couldn't get a tender, that sucks, and that's too bad, but doesn't mean we're giving you more money to come up with some other idea to spend it on. Like, finish the shit you got and let's go, right? Like, let's get some stuff done and stop messing around all the time. Like, so if they want to carry over, that's great. Don't come in and don't come tomorrow with our budget say, oh, we want another $100,000 to go on top of this. Because if you can't get this done, sure as hell can't get the next $100,000 done, right? So we're just making the problem worse. So everyone, like, get on track, and that's just me, sorry.
Based on the budget sheet here, the carryover is 87,500. And
So
what the budget for next year, I just figured that out by adding up the
Yeah,
totals.
but it's
that are
not clear, right?
And then the totals for next year that they're proposing are 227,500.
But we can take out the money for the board, right? That's
We're not taking money, to me, we're not taking money from anywhere, right? Like, if they can't get it done, we're not adding to it. Like, this stuff
so-
needs to be concise, right? We're
So-
trying to figure out what they're asking for, sorry to cut you off, right? We're sitting here guessing about $100,000. Well, and it's not laid out clearly for us, so that should come and say, we've got to carry forward $80,000 next year. And next year, we're asking for 200, so we're going to either have to cut that back, or we've got a plan to get all this done. Otherwise, what are we doing, right? We're just saying, okay, that's great, here's some more, like,
Councillor Rock.
I'm
If
done,
I
I'm
can
done.
speak
Okay,
out
sure, okay,
Without
yeah.
being cut
Yeah,
off.
can I drink some
I mean,
of your
the
drink?
goal, same as last year, is let's have the operational plan reflect what can actually operationally be done. So to Alan's point, if this year, for whatever reasons, we lost a maintenance director, things couldn't get tenders, whatever, right? We spend 87,000, or we spend 95, we have 87.5 left sitting, it just didn't get executed. Let's not just add it to the list that originated for year two. If we know that there's a really good likelihood that they're not going to achieve $250,000 worth of capital work, because operationally it's just not going to happen, because that's not realistic, then let's be realistic with the operational plan here. Let's not be unrealistic with the operational plan, because when we do that, we end up with a surplus. That's taxpayers' money sitting in our pockets that we didn't need. So,
And that was my understanding when I spoke with Amber, is that she was asking for the entire plan to be bumped ahead a year.
okay. 'Cause that's not really what's...
That's not what they're
It's
saying.
not-
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not what this says.
So I mean, for me, it's about, put the realistic achievement in the budget. If the original 5-year plan now ends up being 6 years because of it, so be it. I mean, we have one maintenance director, we have a very small engineering department. You lose one body, you're down 40%, you're not getting as much work done as you thought you were. That's fine. But be real in the budget, because now if we go ahead and allocate that money, our expectation is $250,000 of work's going to get done next summer. If it doesn't get done, now we're all upset about it. And we should be, because we just taken money from the taxpayer, slipped it into our bank account, waiting to spend it, and we didn't spend it. So they should have it in their pocket to spend instead. So,
Councillor Rock?
Yeah, I agree with what Councillor Gibb and Ford have said. I think the problem comes when there's this presumption that we'll just carry it over. Forget the carryover. If you don't get it done, you lose it. Put it in your next year's budget because now we're going into the budget process. So sometimes when this happens, you can't control it. You have to tweak your budget and your long-range plan accordingly. Both are not cast in stone, so there's time for them to adjust. But I don't think we can get dollars that we don't have the people, the staff to get all the expenditures completed and get the installations done.
Councillor Commodore?
I totally agree.
Okay. Councillor Marsh?
Again, like I agree, I don't think we should put a whole bunch of projects into year two that weren't completed in year one and tack on to year two projects, because kind of setting yourself up for failure. But also that there's a lot of service clubs and groups and stuff that I think that KRC might be able to do a better job of partnering with. Like I know Slow Pitch came in and made a presentation and said, hey, like we really need Centennial Ball Diamond Fence because we're hosting the National Slow Pitch tournament this coming summer, 2016. You guys said that you can get it done for $35,000, but we can work with some local people and get it done for even cheaper, for $20,000. So they asked if Kelsey Rec would give them that $20,000 that they had budgeted for a fence out of the 35 that they had budgeted, and that they would go ahead and do the fence. And I know that they were told no. And I mean, that's something that could be knocked off the list and that KRC wouldn't have to worry about for manpower and that kind of stuff. So I think that those are some options that should be looked at as well. I know Rotary wants to make some upgrades to their park. They ordered some park equipment and paid for it, and it's going to be installed and that unfortunately didn't get completed this year, so maybe talk to Rotary, and there's some people in Rotary who have the equipment and the resources to be able to install that equipment and get it done, and then it's done and it's off the list, right?
Okay. It seems to me that Kelsey Rec should come to us at the appropriate time for budgets and say, listen, we weren't able to get this done and this done and this done, but we think we can work with another group and get a few other things done. Here's what we'd like for 2016, and figure out what that is, instead of just moving all the money over here. I don't think the proper homework's been done, and I'm in complete agreement that I think it's wrong of us to start the year off looking for a surplus for the end of the year. It's not right. So I believe we're going to be meeting with KRC
Yep.
tonight.
So it's no to the carryover right now?
I think it is no right now.
I think we're not saying no to the carryover. I think we're saying yes.
We
you
need a
can
better
carry over that
explanation.
Money. We need a better explanation, but we're not going to be giving you any money for year 2 or phase 2 of the long-term plan until we know phase 1 is completed or year 1 is
Right.
completed.
And we'll be asking them of that this evening.
Amber
Okay.
said it's 87.5 is the amount that she's asking to be carried over.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see her later. Okay, anything else on that item? Okay, we'll move along. 4.3, payroll and accounts.
General checks in the amount of $7,451.39. Payroll period 25 and $107,693.69, and payroll period 26, $1,113,328.86. You'll notice that there was another check for Kelsey School Division in the amount of $19,000 approximately. That was for the month of November. There was a check for Minister of Finance, Department of Finance, for $718,079.08. That was our debentures. The Paul Regional Library, there was a check for approximately $22,000. That was flowed through grants. Lakeshore Landscaping, $25,725, which was the outdoor rink. And another large one for Colin Barrows for $14,125, and that was for our 2014 audit. And those are the larger ones.
Okay, so we'll this forward for next week for
And
payment?
then there was also KRC checks in the amount of $221,022.55.
That's included in here, that,
Nope, that'll be another separate one, another separate check register. Town of the Paw and KRC have 2 separate bank accounts and 2 separate checks. There was, not sure, Kelsey Recreation Commission, Community Nights and Grants. Manitoba Hydro, that was heat. And there was one for $3,000, Galaxy Chemicals, that was for the pool. Another one for Hydro for the pool. There's some for instructors. Stitco was $9,589, once again, which was heat. And then there was 2 large ones, and they were reimbursed, or $59,000 and $38,000. It was reimbursing the town for payroll.
right. Okay,
Those were just ones Randy had pointed out.
okay, we'll move that forward then for resolution.
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
Yep.
I'm going through like both of the check registers. There are some pretty small amounts, like less than $10. And I know I asked at the last meeting, like if town council had access to like petty cash, but I'm wondering if KRC has the same. Because like some of them, like there's a check there for like $4.20 or whatever. So in reality, it probably costs more time and money to write that check for $4.20 than the check is actually worth. So yeah, just wondering if there's some sort of
Okay, I don't
petty
know.
cash or like
Do you know
some
what
sort of
KRC
system
has?
even, like for, there's a charge in there for Ace Hardware for like $9. Like is there a way to kind of
Yeah.
speak to these local businesses and say like, hey, look, if our balance is, less than $10 or whatever for the month, can we carry it over to the next month's invoice or something like that? Just because, I don't know, it seems a little
Okay.
wasteful, I guess.
I'll get Jody to
Probably
look
costs
into
$1
or
to
can-
send the check and all that good stuff.
I spoke to Randy about it after the last council meeting, and my suggestion is to stop doing such frequent check runs. The reason you have one invoice for $9 is because they went to the store, picked up the stuff, and the check's issued like 3-4 days later for it. So I'd like to decrease the frequency of the check runs. I was just waiting for basically Randy's response to.
Okay,
But that would be really across the board for everybody. That also means that, employees will be waiting 2-3 weeks for their check as well as, across the board for everybody. Instead of doing this frequently as we do.
Is council okay with that?
yeah, I think
And
that's,
then that would eliminate all of the small ones.
yeah, okay. In the meantime, though, we'll
Those still
move to resolution,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure,
pay our bills, eh?
for sure.
Okay,
This is their comment more than anything.
yeah, appreciate it. All right, we'll move on then, 4.4, the library annex doors.
So this was brought up at the December 14th, 2015 meeting, and the recommendation from council was to get quotes as to how much it would cost to have porta potties put out, and we haven't received anything back yet. The library has no money in their budget for a gate to be installed across the library annex entrance, and it is not in the town's 2015 budget either. Randy has suggested we need to address the real issue. We're getting information on porta potties, however, still the issue, who will clean this? And we are waiting for the demolition and reconstruction of the campground building. And sending out, requesting information or quotes on that. I'm sure everyone heard about our issue today as well.
Yeah, like unfortunately, we need to address the issue, right, which is lack of bathrooms, and the library can put it in their budget for 2016, but it's not really gonna alleviate the problem of it happening right there. They're either gonna just go around the corner or, heaven forbid, right in the front entryway of the library where there's also a little alcove, so hopefully we hear back on some costs for doing either the Kinsman campground bathrooms, or I'm wondering why we haven't heard anything back about the porta potties. Like if they're just not interested, or
We had the purchasing agent looking into it and he hasn't gotten back to us yet. And I asked again for an update and didn't receive anything today.
Okay, so we wait. We wait. I'm wondering, I'm curious as to what the bill will be for the cleanup for today. 4.5, review of draft bylaws.
At the December 14th Committee of the Whole meeting, council discussed continuing with having council and then Committee of the Whole on the same night and on Mondays, and with the CAO presenting department information to council instead of the Committee of Councils. The procedural bylaw and the organizational bylaw are attached. There's been minor changes to reflect our current practice, and these bylaws just need to be taken for first reading. Bylaws prepared as to how we are conducting committees and meetings.
So we're looking at 4.51 and 4.52 at the same time, you ever think?
Sorry, yes.
No, that's fine. And are there any comments or thoughts on this? Councillor Rock?
I think we should do some further review on it, because when I looked at it, one of the things that struck me, and it affects this town meeting process, is where we refer, under definitions, it defines committee of the whole. Council means a committee of all members present at a council meeting, sitting as a committee. So what this is saying is technically we are in a council meeting, but we moved into committee of the whole and are doing committee of the whole business. So I think some of these things we need to look at and clarify going forward, because I've also looked at what some other communities do and how they report on committee of the whole and stuff. And it's a little more defined process that we may want to consider.
Other thoughts? Okay, then we'll table this for further information.
sorry, I just had, oh no, I guess never mind, sorry, I just wrote it down.
We're talking 4539 on that one then, Brian? The first bylaw? 4.5.1?
Yeah, that's the one.
What about 4.5.2?
They both kind of go together. I think a good review is really, I think, in order to help us move forward on some of these things.
Okay, and we will table that and we'll have further review.
I can't remember which one it was now, if it was the 4 point. 4, 5, 44, 45.
And what,
39, sorry, one of them said that our committees would be made up of three members of council with the mayor as like an ex officio member, but I noticed on our personnel committee, we only have Brian and Margaret sitting, so we either need to change that in the bylaw or else add one more person to the personnel committee.
You just can't recall which one you saw that under?
No, I
Okay.
read it earlier today
All right.
and I made a note to mention it, but
it would be
I
bylaw 40, 50, 45, 60.
think it was, I want to say it was 45,
40.
49. I'm just trying to like well, I'm trying to speed read through it to find it now.
It's page 4 of 6
On
on
45.
45, 40, the organizational one. It says the mayor shall be ex official, or it says, point 4 says each standing committee should be composed of 3 members of
There
the
you go,
council.
there you go, yeah. And so, yeah, we have our personnel committee that only has 2 members, so we either need to change that or add one more person.
Yeah, item. It's on page 4.
Page 4 and it's point 4.
Okay, we'll table that then?
So you want both bylaws reviewed entirely compared to what
Yes,
other
please.
municipalities are doing?
Yeah. All right,
Well, when I speak of reviewed, I'm talking about council going through the thing and not only looking at what we're changing, but collectively understanding what the meaning and interpretation is of existing things. So that, because these things have been done and changed over time, and sometimes there's disconnects that show up. And it seems to me it would be prudent on our part to do this because we're still in the early part of our mandate and we have that opportunity. So I hope when it comes to council, we do more than just say, okay, go ahead, but actually take some time or through a committee, look at it.
I agree, but it would be our staff who would bring the various changes, differences that are happening around the province. I mean, I'm sure you'd help them out, say this, look, I found this here and here, there, and they can look that up.
The staff make changes, they hear what we say and they interpret it, but I'm just looking at it in terms of allowing the time to review these things in a sitting or something, either through committee or through the council, so that we're happy with the end product. One of the things I've found is we run into the problem that things come back to council because, oh, there was an oversight here or there. And council has the ultimate responsibility to approve things and make sure that doesn't happen. So we just have to allow ourselves a little more time, I think, to do that.
Any other thoughts? Okay, then that's what we'll do. Okay, we'll move along then. 4.6, point 1, 2015 tax sale.
Tax Service sent a letter with the following questions with regards to the tax schedule that we have scheduled for March 17th. This will be the 2015 tax sale as it was postponed, right, Jody?
Right.
Okay. They had a couple questions in regards to the Braun properties. Does council want to sell the Braun properties for sale, or they're suggesting to sell the Braun properties for sale as a single package? Does council want to bid higher than the reserve bid? The reserve bid is what is owed in taxes and tax sale costs as of the day of the tax sale. The property can be sold without those properties that are on the list can be sold without a reserve bid, meaning that the municipality or anyone else could purchase the property for less than for as little as $1. However, the municipality would then absorb the arrears and costs if the property was sold for less than the amount. And then what auctioneer does council prefer to conduct the sale? Administration's suggestions or recommendations was not to sell the Braun property as one package, to sell each lot individually. Last tax sale, 3 of the lots did go. You sell it as one big package, it might deter some people. Not to bid higher than the reserve bid, because then you get into a bidding war if there's people and we don't want to be, the town doesn't want to be responsible for properties. Yes, they're to be in a reserve bid. All tax arrears and taxes collected for tax sale costs should be accumulated. There's no auctioneer in the PAW. and we're suggesting coordinating with FinFon to share the cost of an auctioneer.
Okay. Thoughts?
I agree with administration's recommendations.
Okay. We're okay with that then?
I'm okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll proceed then. All right, item 4.6.2, the 2016 tax sale.
Attached is just the engagement letter, the request letter to authorize tax service to do the 2016 tax sale. It's just an agreement that needs to be signed. Tax service has done our tax sale for a number of years,
Okay.
and it's scheduled for, I believe, November 14th, 2016.
Okay. And so this requires resolution.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yep.
No issues here? Okay.
No issues.
4.7, Trappers Festival Road Closure Request.
When people request road closures, this has to be approved by council. Trappers Festival is requesting the 100 block of Edwards Avenue in front of Home Hardware to be closed from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday, February 19th, the Youth Board Street Festival. Recommendation is to close the road. Resolution to permit road closures subject to approval of businesses as this was done in the past.
Okay.
And notifying the RCMP.
Any thoughts on this?
And I did clarify with them that it is the Friday afternoon.
Right. Okay.
Resolution will
We'll
be
move forward
required.
then. We'll do resolution. Perfect. All right. 4.8, Council Committees and Representatives on Boards and Commissions for 2016.
This is something that's done every year, appointment of council committees and representatives for the boards. Council met on Tuesday, January 5th, and appointed council committees and representatives and deputy mayor. And recommendation is to move forward and pass resolution for the appointments.
Okay.
Have to
But yeah,
change
my only
the,
comment would be either we need to add somebody to the personnel committee or we need to change that in the bylaw. So before we can
Yeah,
approve this
let's-
or move on with
okay.
our first reading, maybe we should decide if we want to leave it as 3 people or move it down to 2 people.
For personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need one more.
You want
I'm
one?
fine
Until
with, I'm fine with looking on. I was on the personnel
Okay.
committee last year, so.
Let's
I'm
add-
fine with that, if that's how we want to go.
Anybody have a problem with Crystal being on there?
no.
No, I didn't think so.
Add Crystal to that?
Yeah. Okay. Do a resolution. Okay, 4.9, Audit Services.
This is a letter from the chief financial officer and I want to say Haugen Morse, but it's Collins and Barrows. It's for the 2015 audit services resolution. Is required, and the cost is $29,500. I believe we signed a 3-year term with them, that they do it for those 3 years, but
believe
then
that's
this is
so.
just the engagement letter
Yeah.
to authorize them to do it.
Okay, move that forward for resolution.
I like these easy ones.
Okay, item 5.1, social media versus personal freedoms.
At the December 14th Committee of the Whole meeting, Councillor Rock requested a discussion regarding social media versus personal freedoms. It was council's direction to see how other municipalities are addressing this issue. I did a lot of research on this. I contacted other municipalities. I put a question out on Manitoba Municipality Associations. And I didn't really get a lot back. Most of them just dealt with their policies, just outlined how they use social media within their organization. It didn't address personal pages. I did find one part here, and Randy is recommending we look at this as a policy. It needs to be included for staff. I don't know if you want me to read all that out, or
No, I think we all have it.
I just didn't, and does council think we want that as a policy?
Okay, what are our thoughts on this? Brought it forward, Councillor Rock, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
first of all, thank you to administration for the work they did in gathering this further information on it. The reason I wanted to bring it up and discuss it was to look at the issue of, as politicians, public perception and everything, and what we do is a public realm thing. Facebook and other things are public realm, and I wanted to find out, I guess, if there's consistency around council, that we should try to avoid any negative perception that could eventually fall back and taint council, sort of thing, without getting into specifics of of issues. It's out there, and the reason I brought it up was because things came back to my ears and whatnot, and I thought, well, if we don't talk about it, we don't, then I've got no room to complain later on. So I wanted to bring it up and share that with council, and I think, we learn from our experiences, but hopefully we always remember that perception is 9/10 of what people think of us. That's all.
Or more. Any other thoughts?
Well, I think we need to adopt a policy of some sort, right?
I do too.
Because it's not going back the other way. So
No.
we need to.
I just have a question.
Sure.
Like, how extreme is this going to go? Because I mean, most of us here have Facebook pages. So if we post something on Facebook, every time we post, we need to have like a signature created that says, this in no way represents the opinions, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, the town of Paw. Like, I mean, how extreme are you gonna go, right? Like,
Well, I guess, if I may, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
From my perspective, that's not quite the question. The question is if you do it, what are those people going to think and say, and how are they going to treat council and whatnot? So sometimes it's, if you don't say it, is that a disaster in your life or not? So it's just, it's walking that fine line that sometimes when you step over, then it's harder to push back and protect yourself or stand up for yourself than it is not to have done it. Or said it in this case.
I know there's a lot of trouble out there because it's what people perceive, so like, but I agree that there has to be a policy, and, if something comes up and arises, then, well, this is what the policy says. Does it fit in the policy? Does it miss the policy? But I guess it's just, we have to just be careful. Because you can say nothing on it and somebody will take it the wrong way, or you can say something positive and they take it negative, or you can say something negative and somebody takes it positive. We just have to be careful. Policy, yeah.
So we're going to get a policy? There we go, okay. Everybody okay with that?
With what this says, or further review?
Well, I said,
or-
my thoughts are it's going to take us a long time to settle on a policy, so we might as well get draft one underway, see what it says. I'd go for the whole 9 yards and see where it goes. I'll just be honest right now, I have a Facebook page, it's Jim Scott's Facebook page, and I'll say whatever the heck I want. It's my page.
That's right. I have one too.
Good.
And it's my page.
Yeah, and you're free to say what you like.
It's like Brad Wall said in the article about the prison food, right? If you don't like the prison food, don't go to
Don't go to
jail.
prison.
Yeah, so then it is even worth doing a policy?
Yes, we're going to work on the policy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. 6.1, color rates on airport side.
This is from the airport manager. Call-out rates are a standard rate of $175 per call-out for staff member called out after hours of operation. There's no standard rate of increase on an annual basis, and rates have not been increased in quite some time. There's no documentation of the last increase in the airport files. This has been an ongoing issue, I guess, at the airport, with increases in rates haven't gone up over many, many years. The airport manager is requesting to change airport call-out rate to $200 per call-out with an automatic annual rate increase of 5%. Resolution is required if council is in favor of this.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I just...
This is the fee that we charge to airlines.
Yes, I understand that. But I mean, if up the street it's $350 for a call-out rate,
It's $290 really.
$290 rate for Comair. Should we not be there?
Unless Thompson's way less too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
Why do we have to be the cheapest on the block? I don't understand.
yes, like, we're gonna get
You know.
more places.
If everybody else is
So if you want
charging
it to be
$2.90 an
more-
hour, we're going to be,
I
hey,
think
we'll be
it's
on
just
call
a-
for $200 and go out and do all the
See
hard
what
work.
Thompson charges, but.
Yeah, should probably find that
I
out.
don't see no reason why we can't be the
We should
same
be
as
the
Fun
same
Fun.
as everyone else.
Not that far apart.
Thompson charge?
I think another thing with this, and because of this problem with things going forward, is does that number we're throwing out truly reflect our costs and our reality? Or are we still under, or are we over, or whatever? Because we want the airport to keep running, we want lines to use it, but we want to get a fair return for the service we provide and the products we provide. So I would be curious to know, well, when you break it all down, in this one example of the spray, the icing spray, is what's our real cost? And then if it costs you 100, if it takes 100 liters of the stuff on a wing, then figure out that number and then make sure it comes close to or it's in the ballpark with these numbers we're throwing out.
So basically, it's cost
The
recovery.
way I read 6.2, or at least, maybe you know, I don't know. Joe.
Yeah.
It sounds like Flin Flon charges a fee and then charges you for that de-icing. It says that.
That's how I read it, too.
The second, 6.2
The
is
second one?
de-icing fluid plus a $290 fee, which is separate from the
Yeah,
6.1.
it's an hourly fee
Yeah,
plus
it's
cost.
two different
I
things.
think it's just a flat fee.
Right.
So there's a service fee on top. Flin Flon implements a service fee,
Implements a
product
service fee.
used, the rate charged to Con Air is high.
290,
And it-
currently 170.
Yeah,
Product plus a fee of $290 flat. That's just not an hourly, that's just a one-off
right.
for the
But
de-icing portion.
what it told me was we charge them for the cost of getting the stuff here. What we haven't been charging them for is prepping it ready to go into service and be used. And that's an additional cost that we've been bearing the burden of for I don't know how long. And that, so in terms of those things, it would be nice to know, well, what is that true cost? And then reflect it with some sort of markup on top as opposed to, hopefully it's in the ballpark with the others, but
So
I'd like to
maybe,
be fair to the airlines too,
Mhm.
or at least be able to, at least know
Justify.
that this is how we arrived at this number, not, well, that's because those guys charged me.
Okay,
That's kind
so you'd like the airport manager then to break that down? Break those costs down for us?
You know, do some simple calculation on what it actually costs.
We'll get that information from her then, and we'll table this until we have that information, before we make that decision. Okay, are we going to do the same as 6.2 then, on de-icing? Okay, that's what we'll do. We're going to go in camera now, so.
yeah, so that we now move ourselves into a committee, the committee, or the in-camera portion of the committee, the whole meeting, with Mary Scott, to discuss matters
Yeah,
requiring
maybe.
our attention.
Just don't go until you declare.
Thank you very much.